Hey everybody, this is Battle Bear Hobbies. I know it's been a while. I've been a little busy. I'm starting college soon. This is a video that I've done a while back, and I was pretty novice to painting miniatures, but this is one of my all-time favorites. I was painting Godzilla, or as most players know, Gauszilla, named in the lore that became canon later on, funny enough, despite the original creator's wishes. I ended up using a green, tan, and sort of a gray yellowish base. And from this color scheme, I ended up creating my own mercenary unit, the Jade Viper Mercenaries. So it just goes to show that you can start with one mech that you really enjoy, and before you know it, you've got 20 more. And I could include an entire video on the rest of the guys that I have, but whenever you really enjoy painting, you don't record everything. You just get lost in the moment. Usually I would walk you through exactly which paints I was using at the time and brushes and whatnot, but just enjoy the video for what it is. I sped it up a little bit so you could see the process. On my next video that I get into, I'm definitely going to get better at breaking them down into segments. Like, oh, I blocked out these colors, or here comes the highlights, yada yada yada. In post, I think that it's really important after you're done with your mini, how you varnished. You can't tell here, but I ended up using a matte varnish instead of a gloss varnish, and he just became very dulled out with his colors. And I do go for, as you can see in the video later on, a weathered look because what mech is going to be pristine, especially an Annihilator. That thing has been around for a long time and it's a veteran of many slow wars. But a gloss varnish would have looked a lot cooler, reflecting more armor plating, while you can still have some dry brush bits put on in post, of course. Something that I would recommend to anybody is whenever you use your Newell oil or whatever kind of wash you choose, make sure that it sits overnight for 24 hours. Don't play with it, but be sure to scrape off any recesses that you don't want covered because the oil can thicken up and add shading where it's not necessarily wanted. I like mine only in the cracks, and I've had it pile up on shields, legs, torsos, really any bit of armament possible. So be warned. A little bit about me while we're here. I have been in the United States Navy for a little over 4.5 years. I'm finishing out my contract. In the future, I hope to go a little further with my gaming channel and painting slash tabletop RPGs. I'm also getting more into Dungeons and Dragons with DMing. I purchased for $120 freaking dollars the 2024 book set along with the monster manual, so that's cool. And I'm currently doing a Icewind Dale campaign with just my wife and I to progress, and you can actually see her beside me in this video and perhaps a couple more in the future. She currently has her own unit, and the commander is a pink Kodiak, bubblegum pink with icy blue nails, and for a while she almost made her unit's name the Care Bear Kodiaks with him as the commander. No, but she is the Azure Rabbits to my Jade Vipers, and we play just about every Thursday or Saturday, whenever the schedule permits. How busy we are, because she's a crafter as well. I like this positioning, however, having to constantly spin around the mini is a little aggravating at times, so what I figured is I can twist the camera to the exact opposite 180-degree direction, facing it at all times instead of myself, so you can kind of get a real-life POV view while I'm painting. Recently I did a Swords of Light Krita unit, and they've been a lot of fun. I mean, I've got the Direwolf, the Nodachi, the Hazamotos, the Hanamoto, and some other cool guys. And you can't forget the Akuma, of course. The only hard part about getting into House Korea as a whole is the fact that, well, everybody's going to mention the massacre on Kentaurus. You cannot get away from that, but in the Battletech slash MechWarrior universe as a whole, nobody is really good or bad, sort of like in Star Wars. Everybody has committed their own version of atrocities. It's just a shame that the Cretans had blown up a world full of innocents, essentially, but they still have nothing on the cultists, aka the Word of Blake, and how they've literally deleted entire planets and cut comms and planted espionage. The hardest part about painting this guy, honestly, was just choosing the correct green that I wanted. I mostly use colors from the Mercenaries starter paint set by Army Painter, and then as I'd go to the hobby store, I would pick up a paint here by Citadel, Army Painter, Vallejo, whatever it might be. And now I have freaking 30, 40 paints to mix and play around with. But at the time, I had to get the perfect green. In the future, I'm really excited to use Goblin Green that everybody talks about. And I've been experimenting with natural highlights, you know, picking a direction and going from the entire site over instead of unrealistic Warhammer ones where it's more boxy in design. The little hand holders that I'm using are very nice to have. I actually got my first one from my father-in-law as a gift and picked up two more later on. And they're good to paint with, and they're also nice to prime or varnish with. Highly recommend them, and they're super ergonomic compared to like just a stick and some, you know, sticky tack. As of late, I've been really into 3D printing, and I got the FlashForge Adventurer 5M Pro model because it's enclosed and it's quiet. It can make things that are quite tall, but the main reason is I actually print FDM miniatures with a .25 millimeter nozzle and .06 layer height with .15 as the base. And I've been getting some really impressive results lately, so I've moved away from purchasing just Catalyst Games Labs mechs, and I've been printing my own for literally like 20 cents a mech, and it's been a lot of fun. And I know people say, oh, don't care when you're painting, just have fun and experiment. But whenever I'm spending $30 on a lance of mechs, you know, I kind of have high expectations versus a 30-cent FDM mech that I can literally throw away and make another one of in only a few hours. However, thanks for watching. I appreciate all 20 of my subscribers. I'll keep on pumping out videos in the future as I have time through school and work. And game on!